So today we're going to write a pantoum. A pantoum is a form poem, which means that like haiku, it has a few rules. Pantoums started in Malaysia hundreds of years ago, and before they were written down, they were passed along through spoken language. You'll notice that the repetition in this poem makes it sound pretty mesmerizing, kind of like you're in a dream. So let's first look at the form. You'll want to type your poem on this page or copy over this page so you can make sure you repeat the correct lines. The form starts like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the fifth line is the same as line 2, then line 6, 7, which is the same as line 4, 8, 9, which is the same as line 6, 10, 11, which is the same as line 8, 12. Your poem should be at least this long, but you can continue with this pattern as long as you'd like to. So you can go on to 13, which would be the same as line 10, 14, 15, which is the same as line 12, 16. And then in the last stanza, whatever your last stanza might be, you'd have 17, same as line 14, 18, same as line 1, so you're going back to the first line of the poem, 19, the same as line 16, and 20, the same as line 3. So to make it easier to understand that, let's look at an example from the student. You'll notice the challenge of this poem is to move it forward and say new things, even though you're repeating lines. The robin's eggs, the dusty roads, remember me when the stream runs dry. The dusty road, the gnarled tree, when the stream runs dry, sunlight spilling. The gnarled tree, to love again, sunlight spilling, the shiny back of a beetle. To love again, the old brick wall, the shiny back of a beetle beyond the garden. The old brick wall, all gone, beyond the garden. Darkness falls, all gone, remember me. Darkness falls, the robin's eggs. Did you notice how she brought in new images that built on or contrasted with the repeating ones? How she took something old, like the old brick wall and the gnarled tree, and put it next to the line, to love again? Notice how each line can stand alone. This helps you to repeat those lines. That first poem focuses on objects, but you can also focus on actions of what is happening around you, like this next poem does. The creek is rushing, the sun is shining, the grass is tall, and the trees are swaying. The sun is shining, the feeling of being in the creek gives me chills, and the trees are swaying, rocks are being toppled. The feeling of being in the creek gives me chills, the moon is rising and the sun is setting, rocks are being toppled, the forest stares into my soul. The moon is rising and the sun is setting, birds are chirping, the forest stares into my soul. The sound of the creek flows within. Birds are chirping, geese are honking, the sound of the creek flows within. Look up and there is the flying V. Geese are honking, the grass is tall. Look up and there is the flying V. The creek is rushing. By Will. So you'll notice in that one the poet observed what was happening, the actions that were happening around them. The birds chirping, the geese honking, the forest staring, the creek rushing. So you can also be really imaginative about your subject, as this 5th grade student is. Black Tron aliens take over the earth. They eat all the candy and do not say please and thank you. Over the earth they fly sky high and do not say please and thank you, which is not very polite. They fly sky high and shoot lasers, which is not very polite. Then they leave in a rude, exciting attitude. So if you're having a hard time thinking about how to start this poem, look around the room you're in or outside and make an observation to use as a first line. What I can see from here, the sun peeks around the shades. The apple tree is in bloom now. And then use that as your first line and go from there. I look forward to reading these pantoums and hearing that mesmerizing, dreamlike rhythm that it creates by repeating those lines. So I'll see you next week. Next week will be our last week of poetry for the spring. And then I hope to see you all again, most of you, except for those who are graduating, in the fall.